This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of Obi-Wan Kenobi Part 5. I so hope I have enough time to record this, because if I don't, this is coming out on Friday. I wanted to come out on Thursday, but I may not have the time because, as I'm currently recording, I'm about to go to eat, so there'll be a gap in between part of the video since it will not be a 10-minute long video, and it takes a lot longer to make these videos. Although I have pulled all the images, which is the hardest part of making this. I may not be able to have it done in time because I have to go to see Lightyear in a little bit. And then I have a bunch of other stuff, and if I don't finish this by that point, I will not be able to go and have this out on Thursday because I won't be getting home until like 9 p.m. So I am sorry if this does come out on Friday, but instead of wasting time explaining this, I'm just going to go right into it. We flash back to the time when Obi-Wan was still training Anakin and see them begin a lightsaber duel to train. We quickly cut back to the present day and see Vader looking out among the stars, preparing to go and capture Kenobi. Vader congratulates third sister Reva on her success, and with this he is very grateful and promotes her to the rank of Grand Inquisitor. Obi-Wan, Tala, and Leia return to the base of the Jedi Path and prepare to move on and get both the people out into the place they need to be and return Leia to her family. And Vader begins to talk to Reva and tells her to seal them into the base using Lola. And even though Reva doesn't want to because they could potentially hold out for days, Vader says it doesn't matter because he only cares about getting him, referring to Kenobi. And Reva sends out the message. Obi-Wan looks upon the remnants of many things within the Jedi Order as he looks upon the wall of names that is at the main facility of the path, and then looks upon many lightsabers that the Jedi have left behind. Lola sabotages the hangar doors, and as the hangar doors begin to close, the people are terrified as Vader's Star Destroyer enters the system. We once again flash back to the duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin, as Vader sends out his troops to go and capture Kenobi and the rest of the members of the Jedi Path. Obi-Wan tells everyone the reality of the situation, that if they stay and fight, they will lose. But if they are smart, they will be able to go and hold off the forces long enough for the hangar doors to be opened so they can escape. The members of the Path go and seal all of the exits so no one can get in, and Reva and the rest of the troopers begin to fire upon the doors so they can't enter into the base. Leia volunteers to go into the air ducts since she's the only one small enough and reprogram the door so it can be opened. And Obi-Wan Kenobi is contacted by Bail Organa to check up on his progress and tell him that he is willing to send someone to help protect Luke just in case something goes wrong. And Tala tells Obi-Wan how she decided to join the Jedi Path and says that years before she was told to round up citizens because they did not pay their taxes, but it turned out they were actually force sensitive and they were all slaughtered. Being horrified by this, she decided to go and join the Jedi Path. Obi-Wan and the members of the Jedi Path go to hold off the door. Knowing they'll break through soon, Obi-Wan goes to distract Reva. As he goes up to the door, he begins to talk to her, asking what motivated her and why she knew that Anakin was Vader. He continues to question her and begins to realize the truth. Reva confirms that she was a Jedi youngling and knew of Obi-Wan and Anakin and blames Obi-Wan for his fall, wondering where he was and why Obi-Wan wasn't there to defend them and stop Anakin from falling to the dark side. as we flash back and see Anakin with 501st Troopers behind him going and beginning to slaughter the younglings. And Reva explains how she faked her death so she could survive Order 66 and was able to escape. And she reveals her motivation, knowing that Anakin was the cause of so much suffering in her life and the death of all of her friends. She wants to become Grand Inquisitor so she can get close to him and try and kill him. Obi-Wan says they can work on this together, but Reva does not trust him. She slices through the door and begins to lead the troops in to attack. The members of the Path are able to fend off against many of the stormtroopers, but there are so many they are forced to continue to retreat backwards as the stormtroopers continue to come in. And Tala is shot, and Obi-Wan screams for her as she decides to give the ultimate sacrifice, grabbing a thermal detonator and shooting the door to seal Obi-Wan behind it. And the explosion takes out her, the heavily damaged Ned B, and many Imperial troopers, also sealing off this part of the tunnel so no one can come in. Vader is pleased with how things are going and says that there is no escape for Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan gives Haja, who has returned to the path after being wanted for his encounter with Reva and helping Obi-Wan, his lightsaber and communicator so he can surrender to Vader. Obi-Wan goes and is brought to Reva and tells her that his plan is to bring Vader to her so she can get her chance to try and kill Vader. And at this point, Reva decides to let Obi-Wan Kenobi back into the base with stormtroopers to guard him. Returning once again to the flashback duel, we see Anakin disarm Obi-Wan and take his lightsaber, telling his master to surrender. Obi-Wan manages to escape from the stormtroopers and heads back to the ship so they can escape. Leia finds and reprograms Lola and is able to use Lola to help her repair the hangar doors. Obi-Wan and Leia reunite as they prepare to escape, and Vader arrives, realizing what's going on. He grabs a ship that is attempting to take off and pulls it down, ripping the ship to pieces. He looks at him but quickly realizes he's been deceived and sees another ship take off, but he is too slow to catch this one. We return to the flashback duel one last time, as Obi-Wan is able to disarm Anakin and defeat him, and he tells his apprentice that until he gets past his need to win, he'll never be able to fully succeed, and he will still be a Padawan. And even though he does get promoted tonight, he still never has truly learned this lesson, which Obi-Wan is taking advantage of. Reva tries to assassinate Vader, but he easily is able to fend her off as she tries to attack. Vader simply uses the Force to avoid her attacks, not even taking out his own lightsaber. He's able to take her lightsaber from her and splits it into two parts, giving her one half. He toys with her as he duels her and is eventually able to easily push her back. Taking both lightsabers, he easily defeats her and stabs her, taunting that Obi-Wan Kenobi used her so he can escape, and reveals the ultimate betrayal as the Grand Inquisitor enters into the room. The Grand Inquisitor gloats as Vader explains that she did not fool him at all, and he has seen her betrayal coming, knowing that she was a youngling at the Jedi Temple. As the Grand Inquisitor once again takes his rank of Grand Inquisitor, he and Vader leave her there to die. Reva is able to discover the communicator that Haja has dropped, and here's parts of Bail Organa's message, hearing about Tatooine, Owen, and the boy. As she lays there, Obi-Wan feels a disturbance in the Force, and says that it's nothing, although we don't know for sure if he has figured out what's going on. We cut to Tatooine and see Luke sleeping in his bed. And yeah, this was an amazing episode of Kenobi, definitely the best one so far. And yeah, I think there's maybe like one dumb moment of Organa contacting Obi-Wan, and I can't see how that is dumb, especially if this was a message he left for him. I think it is a little more understandable if he did see that Obi-Wan was there and he didn't start the communication until he was able to confirm Obi-Wan was there and see that he was somewhere safe. But yeah, I think that might be the one dumb thing about this episode because this episode was completely awesome. We had an awesome flashback to Order 66, although that was spoiled kind of by the content warning at the beginning of the episode. With that, I knew you'd have to be getting an Order 66 scene because I knew about the events that tragically happened, I think, like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And this warning had also been placed on a Stranger Things episode because of how graphic that was and just the horrible tragedy that happened. And I get why this warning was there, although it did sort of spoil what happened in the episode, since I knew it had to be a warning for Order 66. And yeah, I think that it still was an awesome scene. It was awesome to see Anakin and Obi-Wan both in a flashback, and Anakin at the Jedi Temple, and well, to actually see something that George Lucas didn't even want to show us, Anakin killing younglings, even though it's really quick shots and you can't fully see it, you know it happens, and you're told it happens. It's just cut so quickly to see because killing children is wrong, and they are not going to be specifically showing that. But still, I think that they did such a great job with this episode. I had so much fun watching it. I think it was so well made. I really enjoyed this episode. I think they did such an amazing job with it. Alligator and Vader did such a great job as a villain. They did a great job developing Reva as a character and explaining her motivation and why she wants to be doing this. It was interesting to see and to have her developed. I think they did such a great job with this. It was really interesting. I'm so excited to see next week's episode, although I'm wondering where they're going to go with this Luke Skywalker storyline because the next episode has to be really long. I think they said the show is supposed to be like 5 hours long, which is going to be shown in theaters. And yeah, that's the reason we know the length of the show, although part of it might have been a Q&A, but there's a good chance this finale could be over an hour long. And if it is, I think that will explain how there are two major things that we know will happen in it. One being what was described as the rematch of the century, since we haven't seen an ultimate duel between Obi-Wan and Vader like we were promised. We saw one where Obi-Wan was completely destroyed by Vader in a fight, and while on the other hand, we just haven't seen too much of a conflict between them besides Obi-Wan mainly running. And we also need to see Reva go to Tatooine and confront the Lars family. And my best guess to how the next episode will take place is it will start off with Obi-Wan fleeing with the members of the Jedi Path and eventually confronting Vader where he will go and fake his death. With that, I think that will close all puzzles and, at least according to Obi-Wan, and explain why most people think that Obi-Wan is dead, and also fix how when Obi-Wan last left Vader, Vader was the learner and Obi-Wan was the master, and now in A New Hope, Vader is the master, and yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see. I really am looking forward to this next episode of Kenobi. It's been so fun to watch this, and even though not everyone's been loving the show, personally I have been loving it. I think they did such a great job. I'm so excited to see this continues. And although I love it, I don't think it needs a season two. Because I just don't know what they would do for a season two. Because if Obi-Wan fakes his death in this, then how is he going to go and return and do another adventure in another season unless this is set earlier in the timeline or something? But yeah, I am not sure. They could do an interesting season two set on Tatooine, but honestly, I just really don't know what they will do. Yeah, honestly, I think this show's been just great so far, but I do understand if people don't like it. But I want to know what you think. Please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.